What was banned at your school and why? The word buckle, I kid you not. Back in grade 7 a few kids in one class had his S word on a spelling test and thought it would be funny to just shout it out randomly. The teachers, believing it to be a code word for something more sinister, decided to outright ban the word across the school. Needless to say, the faculty became the brunt of many jokes both from students and their parents. Cell phones. Someone decided to make an Instagram account consisting solely of porn with teachers' heads photos hopped onto the porn stars' bodies. Two-way hallways. Sounds crazy, right? The principal and his staff thought that it'd be a smart idea to have one-way hallways in order to cut down student traffic. If your locker was right around the corner, and you had to go against the traffic in order to get there, you had to walk all the way around. If you passed your class on the way to your locker, you had to make 2 circles around the building. This significantly increased tardiness and write-ups. Terrible idea. When I was in high school we got permanent markers banned. Someone organized a game of assassins where everyone is given a target to kill, and if you're successful you inherit their target. It was $1 to enter and the winner gets the jackpot. We had around 150 students out of the 600 in the school participating. The objective was to mark your target with the Sharpie on their skin and they were then declared dead. This could only be done in the hallway or the cafeteria, not in class or off campus. Well, our vice principal decided she wanted to participate, saying that if she won the money she'd use it to buy something for the school. Fair enough, we thought, so we let her in. Well, one of my friends ended up with her as a target, so in between classes one day he sneaks up behind her and does his best Sam Fisher assassination attempt, grabbing her mouth and slashing her throat with the Sharpie. Well, that was just too much emotional stress for our poor VP. She took his Sharpie, had him serve ISS and forced us to discontinue the game. No more Sharpies could be used by students or staff, and no one knows whatever became of the prize money either. We kept it in a jar in our principal's office so no one could take it, so we all hated our VP even more than we did before. Weren't allowed to dye our hair in natural colors, banned hoop earrings and running like Naruto because a guy did that and fell down the stairs and broke his arm. Dark jeans. Their logic was that when we'd stand against white walls resting against them, the color of the jeans would rub off. It doesn't translate well into English, but gay piles. Basically, if someone was on the ground because they fell or were wrestling with someone or whatever, this was middle school, someone would yell gay pile and everyone nearby would throw themselves in a pile on top of them. It wasn't a problem until some 20+ kids decided to throw themselves on top of some poor guy. Google. Our high school had some kind of contract with this really city school appropriate search engine called NetTrekker. They banned using Google in school because it wasn't scholarly. Only NetTrekker was allowed. They tried extending this to beyond the school. They wanted us to use only NetTrekker for internet searches outside school, and sent home a pamphlet about internet rules outside the classroom. They said that students shouldn't have Android phones. I got a referral for having a Moto X smartphone. This was in 2015. Blankets. It was the South and they keep the AC on too high because it's so freaking hot outside. Girls would wear shorts to be cool when outside, but they'd get too cold inside. Thus, the blankets to keep their legs warm in class. Of course, blankets are opaque and they were already being used to cover up legs. Well, if a girl started sharing a blanket with a guy, yeah, things could get a little handsy. Looney Tunes characters on your clothes. It was the 90s at a city school. Brass instruments were banned in my school. All music classes were banned in my school. They said it encouraged too much sax and violins. T-ball was banned for a long time because a kid hit the ball and threw the bat to the side so he could run the bases. It hit a pregnant teacher in the stomach and she had a miscarriage. Steel rulers. Some guy bashed the shit out of a bird with it. Buckets. They banned us from carrying backpacks between classes, so a couple guys started carrying around their textbooks in buckets. Drug dogs. They started bringing in drug dogs in my sophomore year. They would smell the lockers and cars, and if one hit on your locker or car you had to go open them up and let the school search it. By my junior year a group of stoners had enough of it. They took bong water and put it in a bunch of spray bottles and sprayed it on all the lockers and cars they could. My school had about 1,400 kids in it. It took one time of having 300+ kids pulled out of class to have the locker searched to make them rethink the policy. What really got the parents parents to force the school to stop though was the cars. When drug dogs hit on a spot they kind of go nuts. Imagine 25 plus cars getting a hit and having dogs scratch the hell out of the paint for a search that found nothing. Many parents didn't push too hard, but some were demanding that the school pay for the damage. So no more drug dogs. Aerosol cans because we would put them in the toilet, set them on fire and blow the toilet up. That's just facing stupid. They should have banned the toilets instead. Kappa clothing because people would cover the top of the logo so that it looked like a woman with her legs open. The things children did before the internet. Candy necklaces at my middle school. One day a couple of my friends came into the playground before school started with a candy necklace each, which immediately got everyone's attention after we all demanded to know where they got them and how much they cost. From the corner shop down the street, and 10p as I recall. One or two others said they might go and get one for themselves before school started. That might go turn into them sprinting to the shop once one kid figured out how to weaponize them, holding one piece of candy between their teeth, stretching forward the elastic and biting down. It would catapult pieces of candy at whatever it was aimed at. That morning a few kids bought a candy necklace each, and played a game of firing bits at each other. The next morning 400 Albanian Lex kids that attended the school were engaged in all-out necklace war. Every single one of us must have had at least one and our own technique for maximizing the firing rate. After doing our best recreation of trench warfare all morning and having the kind of fun that only comes with an entire playground full of kids all playing the same game, we were all ushered into the assembly hall to be told that candy necklaces were now banned. Nobody lost an eye, just in case you were wondering. Pogs and Pokemon cards in elementary school. Pogs because of those metal slammers they were afraid we would use as weapons. Pokemon cards because kids like to show off their first edition Charizards, and thefts and buyer's remorse trades happened often. We were banned from the gym at lunch. Used to go in the gym, shoot hoops, etc. Eventually we were playing dodgeball with basketballs. Errant throw broke the fire alarm and set it off for the whole school. We had to stay in the cafeteria after that. Earrings on guys. This turned into a huge thing with students doing walkouts and yelling at teachers. It really was a stupid rule and as far as I know was ultimately dropped. Cooking class. Superintendent decided that, I quote verbatim, cooking is an impractical art. Today, everyone can just buy pre-made meals and no one has time to cook, or they could be smart and hire a personal chef. This person makes over $150k a year after taxes and is in charge of 3 schools in the district, totaling 3,000 students. Titty twisters. A weird dude in my class got a lot of laughs by letting people give him titty twisters. Apparently, after repeated and increasingly hard titty twisters, the connective tissue behind his nipple broke. So this guy could literally stretch his nipple 5 to 6 inches off his chest. Obviously, being a teenager and a weird one at that, he went around showing everyone and their mother his new ability. He got warned about it several times and the final straw was when he was seen by the administration with an equally weird girl, suctioning his nipple 5 to 6 inches off his chest. They immediately banned titty twisters. But there was really no need. We were all pretty scarred by what we had seen from this kid. Any liquid not in a clear plastic bottle, and then the only liquid we could have was water. The ban was because a girl in my grade got caught with vodka in a clear plastic bottle. Everyone in my school never understood the ban because vodka is clear like water, and the only reason the teacher even caught on to her was because another dumbass kid was joking around about alcohol and the idiot with the vodka threw the bottle away in the garbage next to the teacher's desk. Niqab, hijab, burqa, Christian cross, kippah or any religious sign. Because in France, school is a religion-free zone. We learn science and knowledge. The rest must stay at the door. Although I do not wear any religious symbols myself, I am completely against this, and I'm deeply for it. Secularism. Follow the simple code of your freedom and where the mind start. The rule in France is simple. You can express your religion at home freely or on the proper place, temple and such. You can organize religious events, associations, anything you want. You can give religious flyers, have a religious newspaper or TV channel. You can even spend your day on the street screaming that Jesus is coming. Nobody care. You cannot be prosecuted, arrested, discriminated for your religion. You will never have to discuss it to have a job. It's forbidden for your boss to even ask what your religion is. There's even religious monarchic political groups and they're completely allowed. But any public domain is religion-free because religion is a private subject. Your freedom to express it and where public life starts, including school and any public service. A French civil servant has no religion, no political opinion, no belief of any sort as long as he's working. Full neutrality is the rule because is not at the service of a community but the population with no regards for sex, religion or political idea. A school teacher can pray at home but is not allowed to proselytism or religious expression in front of children. Children at school are students, not Christians, Muslims, rich, poor, communist or anything, just student. Simple. My school would report you to the police if you were caught watching Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life. Happened twice in the year it was big. Have no idea why but they just didn't like it. Toasters. We got in trouble for making toast in a math class because our teacher was notoriously oblivious. Like we full-on snuck a toaster into the classroom and made toast with jelly and distributed it under the desks 2 class periods in a row. After getting chewed out for being disrespectful, we then designed our class shirts with the come and take it flag with a toaster in the middle. The head of school somehow didn't find out about the shirt design until we had them and wore them to school, despite the fact that he was a class sponsor. Shag bands. These plastic rubber bracelet things. Basically, if someone broke your shag band you supposedly had to have sex with them. A natural law according to some, but never, to my knowledge, ever enforced. The school got wind of it and became horrified that a bunch of 13-years would ever think something like this reasonable and came down on us with an iron fist. I vividly remember one teacher scornfully say so-called shag bands and then spit in disgust. It was hilarious.